Hello, my name is Igors. I'm a coach. I work with people who are affected by ADHD or someone who is living with person with ADHD, and I do as well mindset coaching and life coaching. Uh, so to be clear, I am person diagnosed with ADHD and lived undiagnosed with this condition for 32 years. I can't uh, doubt or argue with my neurologist that ADHD do not exist or something like that, but I can argue about stuff how I see ADHD in my life. I can express my opinion regards ADHD, how I manage it in my own life, and what techniques or things I find works well, even if I'm not taking medicine or I'm not trying to convince somebody that this is something what everybody need to choose or that somebody needs to listen to me. Uh, but that is how I'm living, that is who I am, and that is how I see ADHD in my life. And I am fully convinced that with ADHD comes more advantages in my life than without ADHD. I just don't define me as ADHD. I am I, and not I am ADHD. I have it, but it's not me. I still choose to be myself, and that's the thing what I done first after I was diagnosed with ADHD. I talk with my neurologist. I talk with people around. I read a lot about ADHD. I read things what makes us different. I read things what makes act as like we are acting out. I read things why we can't focus and why we can't be motivated and why that works differently in us. And then I put together all the picture and see ADHD as a different way of being and accept it. I accepted myself that I'm different, that I act different in some situations, and I uh, I live differently. And this is not something wrong to be yourself. Uh, and I would suggest to uh, each and everyone, are you affected or you not affected by ADHD, to open eyes and be yourself and don't pretend. I tried to pretend for 32 years, and today I don't pretend that I'm something else. I try to fit in society who are regulated by rules or ethics or written rules. What's just set you in a frame that in some situations you need to act like this, and in these situations you need to act like this. Uh, but that's changed. It's happened changes in world, and people start acting differently, and roles start to change, and science is telling us that differences is acceptable, that lots of things what was discovered 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago now changed, and we can do more, and this is something what I created in my life, and reading all the stuff how my brains works, or what is my brain's difference, or my nervous system difference, or how my HPA axis works, what the problem is with me, I set a plan for myself and change it, and I share it. And in many cases, I see ADHD as thing related with lifestyle. In many cases, I see ADHD as a thing where we use it as excuse, or we love to complain about it. But I'm not afraid of different opinions. I don't convince my opinion. I learned about brains quite enough to understand that we as a humans create our reality in our mind, and then we express it out. So as many people I know, as many realities I see, and I just need to listen and understand. And I choose, after I was diagnosed with ADHD, create new reality in my life and move forward with, with ADHD as a normal person, loving myself, accepting myself, being myself, not giving uh, ADHD any force to rule my life anymore. I don't want struggles what I experienced for 32 years, trying to fit in somebody's expectations, and trying to convince myself that everything I do is something wrong. I done a great job, and I still felt that I'm not worthy enough. I get problems with self-worth. I get problems with confidence. I get problems with sleep. I get problems with stress. I got problems with depression. I got angry. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't focus, and so on, so on, so on. Because all the time, whatever I done, I was reminded that something is wrong with me, that the way I'm acting out is something wrong. I was reminded until I created a picture in my mind that everything I do is wrong and I am wrong. If I would stick any single day more after I am diagnosed with ADHD that something is wrong with me and I need to heal myself because somebody thinks that I am doing something wrong, most of the things what is wrong with ADHD is the process of thinking and fitting in somebody's expectations. Even if your brain works differently, even if your nervous system works differently, why so many people who is reading about ADHD or who knows stuff about ADHD tells, oh, I would love to have many traits of ADHD myself. Many doctors who works with people with ADHD tells that I want this part of ADHD in my life, that because that makes life wonderful. We people diagnosed with ADHD are convinced that something is wrong with us, and we try to suppress our personality. We are trying to suppress ourselves just to fit in somebody's expectations. Why we are trying to suppress something what somebody else wants? I learned to manage ADHD with many other techniques. I use mindset change, I use brain training, I use neuroplasticity, I use affirmations, I use diet, I use physical exercises, I use walking meditation, I use meditation as as part of my daily life. I know what ADHD brings in my life, but I am looking for solutions how I can create my life as I want, because nobody took away my rights to choose what life I want. Nobody took away abilities to build my life as I want. Nobody took away my subconscious mind, what holds a lots of information about my past, about my pains, about my stuff. What's you reprogramming can change the way you see your reality, and you begin to act differently. Uh, my question is, in my own life and for myself, why the ADHD came in my life, and I needed it, and there I looking for answers from why is part of my life, and what I need to learn from it. I do it with all the diseases or all the sicknesses I get, and that's why I'm looking for explanations. The same I done with my ADHD, and I find out that that's part that this came in my life to teach me acceptance and love. Before ADHD, uh, uh, I was diagnosed with cluster headaches, and I find out that that is the same teachings, that I need to accept myself, that I need to love myself, and that I need to grow personally, and choose the different paths in my life. And since I changed this way of looking on things, why they come in my life, I began to change my life. Now ADHD is not a trouble in my life, but it's something what makes me different. I put my attention on things what is nice, good, fantastic what comes with ADHD, and I do well putting this attention on this stuff. If I would put attention on all the stuff what is bad with ADHD, I would complain still about my life, that I can't control it, that I can't build relationships, that I can't focus on something, that I can't get motivated. I still have lots of things from ADHD, even if I manage it very well. I sometimes recheck some things because I think I forgot it. I have different sense of time. Uh, I have planners, but it's nothing written in it. But then I again take a look on stuff, how time is planned by many successful people, and they as well don't use planners, or they have four very important things or three important things what they want to do, and they let life flow, and I let my life flow as I want, and I create it. I work with my mindset, creating a mindset I want to see, uh, and that is how I express myself. I express myself out to other people as happy and as I want to be, because that is the choice. I made the choice to be happy, and that is what I am expressing out, and I want that everybody else is happy. I learned to understand the lessons that if you don't accept yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you feel not worthy, if you feel not good enough, if you feel, uh, your feelings create how you will express yourself out, and all your feelings will come back how other people will see you. If you feel not worthy, other people will see you not worthy. If you feel that you are not good enough, everybody will see you not good enough. If you can't accept yourself, nobody will accept you in a, if you don't love yourself, then why everybody else need to love you? This is the message what I am telling out for people with ADHD. If you don't accept yourself and you don't love yourself, this is something what creates reality, and that is why you are not accepted and you are trying to fit in. I tried it for 32 years to fit in, and not to be yourself makes a struggle, and your brain start to work differently just to cope with your trying to fit in something. When you don't accept yourself and don't love yourself, your brain works just differently. And that is science, and this is something what Karolinska Institute is telling us, that your brains start to work differently when you look on many things in your life from positive point of view. And they're telling that that is visible in MRIs and so on. It's change your brains and they start to work differently. Dr. Amen, who spent years to research brains, making MRI scans and then looking what's effect is made on brain by different diseases. And he explains that in case of ADHD, it is brain difference, but with brain training, with lifestyle changes, with changes of mindset, with food supplements, with balanced nutrition, with balanced food, with balanced physical activities, with exercises and everything else, you can change your brain. It is Dr. Bruce Lipton who talks about genetics, that our genetics is in is plastic and can be changed by your mind process and how we act out. And I was reading about my ADHD, and I was reading about all the genes involved in ADHD, and I didn't find any statements that it is not possible to change something in genetics, as all the genes involved in case of ADHD is very sensitive to environment you create around yourself or around your child, and how you are reacting. But that genetics brings two sides. If you create environment what is not good for you, you create a situation in your life what is not good. And the second part of this genetics is very wonderful, and if you create right environment in your life, you bring out in your life this good stuff, like novelty seeking, or this is genetics what is for success or wealth or happiness and so on, so on, so on. It's depends what kind of environment you create around yourself. That is why I choose not to define myself by ADHD, but I define myself as I am I, and live out of myself. I can't change things in my life because I am diagnosed with ADHD. This is who I am, Why should I defend myself that to and convince somebody that I want to fit in? That's why I'm trying to pretend that I'm something else. I don't want it anymore. I done it for 32 years, so forgot about it. I will not try to fit in somebody's expectations, and I will not try to convince somebody that he need to be my friend if he can't accept that the exact way I'm living out. I love my sense of time. I never missed appointment. I get to appointment 1 hour earlier or 5 minutes later. That is the right timing when I needed to be there. So sorry guys, that is my sense of time. Today's technologies reminds me if I have call or something like that, and I perfectly can speak with people on time. It's no problem to use schedulers or something like that, what reminds you when, but when it's in a written way, I can't schedule. My scheduler, my planner is empty most of the time, where new technologies brings and I don't feel anymore that I do not manage my time well. I do well, and I have instruments how I can do this. Do I remember things or forgot things? If I forgot something, I'm not so much worried. So it's meant to be forgotten on that moment. Yes, I recheck my debit cards. Did I took it back from shopping or where I put my keys or something like that? That is part of me. I can't change it. I just need to live with it, but I'm not worried anymore. I do not put pressure on it. What I done before. It's less pressure when you act out like you are. It's less stress, it's less depression, it's less anger, it's less problems. And when you stressed less, when you are depressed less, or brains works differently, it brings more different neuron neuron pathways. It creates a natural process how your things start to work. Brain brain can be trained. We we are well informed that neuroscience tells that exists neuroplasticity, and now we can train our brains and bring back something what we are missing in our or brain structure. So we can train, and I find in my life that more physical exercises, better diet, mindset changes, way I'm thinking, putting myself on a positive part of life, change my way I'm acting out. It's changed my ADHD. So if I'm changing that and I'm naming ADHD as a disorder of lifestyle, I'm telling that I find it related with lifestyle as well. When I'm telling you that ADHD is a disorder of complaints and excuses. Yes, I done in my life so many excuses, explaining everything that something is wrong with me and ADHD affected it, and so on, so on. It's nothing wrong to tell your opinion how you see something. And you very well know that in ADHD brain, what is in your mind, it's in your words, and it need to be very careful what you are thinking. I'm not afraid to share opinion what I'm thinking. People, oh, maybe that is because his native language is not English, so he don't understand what he is writing. Now I understand exactly what I'm writing. I understand exactly what I mean by it, and I stick to my beliefs that lots of stuff comes with ADHD is a part of the lifestyle. It's a part of how we are thinking. It is part how we are accepting and loving ourselves. And in a case where somebody is explaining, oh yes, but I was diagnosed in age 4, 8, 12, 15, and it's really how it can be the problem of lifestyle. It's environment what you create around you. Lifestyle is an environment you get around yourself. Yes, you can be diagnosed with ADHD and at age 4, 5, 6, and so on. But if we are looking on ways how can be changed child's behavior who is diagnosed with ADHD, you will see lots of advice comes with accept your child, love your child, use positive parenting in daily life. It's not say push your child to do what you want. It never works. I know that if somebody push me to do something what I don't like, and they will get just bad replay from me, and I can do something I don't like, and but I will not feel good, and I will most of the time just respond negatively on things what is pushed to me. Too many questions, I will get angry with that. I don't like too many questions because I love when it's written and I can make a decision slowly. When I do something in rush, I make mistakes. When I can focus on thing, when I'm ready, then I make a focus and make decision slowly, uh, manageable, and everything else. That is how I recreated my life. That is what I'm telling in my coaching, or teaching in my coaching, that it exists ways how you can make your life success, wonderful, fulfilled, using techniques what comes in from neuroscience, what comes in from healthy lifestyle, what comes in from people who is working with mindset, from things how you see yourself. This is everything what works very well, and more is approved by science that this is something what people need to uh, adapt in their daily lives. And if we are looking for excuses, we always will find excuses. If we want to complain, we always will complain. But I love this quote. What I remind myself: don't complain and don't explain, because this begins with arguments and that kind of stuff. When you are criticized, I do accept constructive criticism or something like that. I got lots of response to my post, but that is my way of thinking. That is how I see ADHD in my own life, and nobody need to trust my opinion. Nobody need to be convinced that it's only true, because I know that without me is more than 7 billion different realities around the world, and I am totally happy with that. You say that you need medicine in a moment of crisis, or you can't manage something, or you need medicine to treat your headaches, or something like that. Last time I visited my doctor related with my cluster headaches, and that was the same time when I was diagnosed with ADHD. As well, for cluster headaches, what is extremely painful headaches, I said, if that's medicine don't treat me, I learned to cope with that pain what I'm experiencing in a moment of headaches. So why I should take these pills with a list of side effects? The same I made with ADHD. But what surprised me, I'm surprised how much changes I get changing just my lifestyle. I am free from my cluster headaches for the last 2 years. I do manage my ADHD extremely well, using all the techniques and not using medicine. Yes, I mix plenty of techniques and strategies in my life to manage my ADHD. That involves things from spiritual literature. This involves how I'm balancing my energy centers, or more known as chakras. Uh, I do meditation. I clean my mind, and try to delete lots of things what's trying to convince me uh, that is something wrong with me. I do lots of work with me, and I'm not telling that's the easiest way. I would be happy that all my problems is sorted out just with some magic pill or something like that, but they will not be sorted out. They didn't sort it out my problem with headaches. What is more terrible than ADHD is, if I could live with cluster headaches, and I can live with ADHD as well. I can learn lots of stuff how to manage it. Nobody took my intelligence just diagnosing ADHD. Nobody took my subconscious mind of me diagnosing with ADHD. Nobody to change laws of nature, how they are working in my life. Nobody took knowledge I can gain with ADHD, and I can learn a lot, and in short period of time. I can do work more effectively and more productive if I'm interested, challenged by something what is uh, something I love to do. This is with all my works, and I lose interest in things when they are not challenged anymore in my life. I can change work every 3 years, but that's made my life interesting because I learned so much stuff in my life. I learned how carpets is created. I done journalism. I was investigative journalist. I was managing director. I was executive director. I learned fields where I was uh, not familiar with, like arts or culture, or printing, carpet manufacturing, car manufacturing. I learned it thanks to my ADHD. If I did not have ADHD, I would never try something else. I would stick to normal paths, and that kind of thing. What I do when I am learning about ADHD, I do not stick on on part of ADHD because I am interested. Okay, why I can't be focused, and then I am looking for stuff what is related with focus, and I go through focus not only from point of view how my brain works or what's the biochemical processes happening in my brain. I'm reading what's the difference can be expected in moments or so, these things, or you can find researchers what says that it is normal that people can hold their attention exactly in an amount of their ages, plus minus a couple of years, and you will find out your exact attention span on some stuff you are doing. Why is that we are expecting that 4, 5, 6 years old child will hold attention for an hour? His attention changed, and if you are not getting his interest, if you can't create a challenge and interest in child diagnosed with ADHD, you will not get his focus. You will not get him to be motivated to do that stuff. If you as a parent are trying to convince your child that something is wrong because you hear that your neighbors is telling that with your child is something wrong, then I done the same mistake being diagnosed with ADHD, and then I was living in different place, and I didn't experience problems with my child's behavior, and I accepted that he's hyperactive, and he's not holding attention to many things, and he wants and I was happy with my child, and then I moved, and many people started to convince me that with that child behavior something is wrong. He is too active. He is not holding enough focus, and then we began to go to nursery, and everybody began to tell. And we started to experience more and more and more and more problems. I diagnosed with ADHD, who knows how hard it is to be different and not accepted, began to not accept my child as he is, and soon we changed it to positive parenting, less pushy methods, accepted and loving our child as he is. He's wonderful, wonderful kid, and he learns quicker than we expected. He do well. His behavior changed. He acts differently, but he still have this ADHD. But changes in his diet, decrease hyperactivity. He can hold more attention on things where he is interested, and less attention where he is not interested. Do I will push? No, I better change 10 schools for my child, but he must be accepted and the way he are. And this is again, my choice, my opinion, and everybody can do with their child what they want, and make decisions in how they want to manage this situation. I choose this way, and I'm happy about results. And people who try to convince me that with my child is something wrong today says that wow, what's the difference in a year? They began to tell that what's the difference in a 2 months. So I don't see that I really need to give medicine to control my child. So again, I'm coming back to my opinion. Really, that pill can help to cope with ADHD symptoms. I'm not sure about because my choice was not to medicate myself, and I don't want any more pills in my life because they make myself just not me. I'm not trying to convince somebody that you are doing wrong or my way is the right one. I'm telling you that I see HDHD as the way we are created, the way that we are something great, and it's just other way of being. If we learn to accept ourselves and love ourselves as we are, we create less mistakes, and that is what I learned since I accept myself, since in my life is less stress, since I don't need to convince somebody that I will try harder to fit in this society, and I make decisions better. I'm less impulsive. I experience less anger. I control my emotions. I feel well. I feel happy. I see myself growing every single day. Every single day invested in myself makes changes in my life. It makes changes in life of others. How they start to build relationships with me. They start to accept me as a different being, and they accept that I have rights to be different and these things because I accepted myself and began to love myself. If somebody wants to convince me today that I need to think what I'm talking, or to convince me that I should try medicine and maybe it will change something. Trust me, I don't want to come back in these 32 years where I experienced struggles. It's not what I want, and it is not something I would be ready to experience one more time. If somebody wants to see me or expect to me from me that I will come back and try to fit in somebody's expectations, and then I was full of and deeps of my heart telling you, I'm not planning to try fit in somebody's expectations anymore, and this is for sure something what's uh, are you diagnosed with ADHD or you are not with ADHD? That is something what everybody should understand, that you came in this world to be different, and you don't need to fit in somebody's expectations. You are perfect. I am perfect the way I are, and if I'm trying to convince myself or to fit in somebody's expectations, then I'm not me. Then I'm something who pretends, and and it's not me. And then I start to feel pressure on myself. Then I start to feel depression. Then I start to feel stress. Then I start to express anger and read from and then I start looking from where these things comes out, from where comes depression, from where comes anger, from where comes stress, and again I need to sort it out, and it comes to that stress, depression. It comes out from your mind. It comes out because you need to uh, be something else, and then your body or your mind tells you that something is wrong, and then you again start looking for answers, and you think that I am saying, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and then I changed the lifestyle, and then I started to work on a mindset, and I changed the diet. Oh, that was so easy. Work on a mindset is terribly hard. You don't know where the blocks comes in your life. You don't know what is in your head anymore. You don't know who you are, so you need to go through your life and analyze your life. That is a painful process. What I went through in my life to understand myself and what's the wrong things I put in my head. It was not easy process, but I'm happy I done it, because today I'm happy, and I can talk about it. I can share my message. I can share my opinion. I can share my point of view, and I know that with my experience, how I went through that, I can help somebody, and if someone needed help, he will find me. He will probably relate with my message. He will do, but I'm not pushy. I trust in a natural process that right people on the right time are bring together to work together, to help each other, and so on, so on. I don't convince somebody that, oh, come on, I'm great, and now I'm done in my life this stuff, and hopes, come on, and everything I will do, it will change. No, that is the work still. Even if I'm sharing my message, and even if I'm telling you that I went through that, what I do in coaching, I tell my own experience. I speak a lot about acceptance and love. I speak about concrete stuff what is related with physical exercises, with brain trainings, how I went through that, because that is clearly clearly written things what you can find on your own if you wish. If you are looking for how you can accept yourself, it's more than one strategy how you can work on this stuff of acceptance and love. It is so much strategies. I talk about people personal power, what is inside you. I talk about uh, energies, and if you balance your energies or chakras, what I mentioned a little bit earlier, you will find out that if you are willing to learn more about it, you will find that these chakras or energy centers is related with glands, and when you start looking on this energy centers and glands, and how it's related with your daily life, you will find that balancing them, you improve your health, you improve your biochemical processes in your body. So it helps for managing ADHD. It helps to relieve you from depression. It's decrease stress. It's the teach you how you can control your emotions, and so on, so on. And that's why I mix everything together. I mix all this stuff together to create my life, because I am the master who can create my life. HDHD can't create my life. I can tell you, nobody's life is created by HDHD. It's still created by you. It's still created on a nature rules how the life is created for everyone. That is, we create circumstances, we create obstacles, we look for excuses or for solutions. We create our own problems, and then we need to change mindset to get out of those problems. That is the life, and ADHD is part of my life. I can't change this. I can't change myself more, and I don't want to go back in a struggle what I experienced 32 years of age. So this is a choice. Everybody makes his own choices. I made the choice to manage my life this way, to manage my ADHD that's way, to manage my cluster headaches that's way. I do I do lots of work with myself, and I just can advise, if you still suffer from ADHD, you can change your life. It's for sure. When you open your eyes and stop define yourself that you are ADHD, but you are something more than ADHD, that you are something bigger than ADHD. And ADHD is just an explanation of why lots of things don't work in your life the way you want. When you accept yourself and love yourself, you are on a path for changes. And when you start to work with yourself, in a 6 months, in a year time, in a 2 years, you will see changes. You will find out that you are more focused, you are more motivated, you are more happy, you are living more wonderfully, you create differently relationships, uh, you do more effective and productive work, and so on. Changes comes. They come months after month, day after day, second after second, but you must work with yourself. And I do work every single day, and love my ADHD because that makes me different. But ADHD do not define me. That is the message. I learned that even if it's part of my life, it's not me. I'm something greater, something more than my ADHD. I could stick to struggles and say, oh, that is a part of my life. I accept it, take pill, and live life as I want. I would be not happy. I would struggle still. I would try to fit in, and so on, so on. It's not a life I want. I want live as I'm doing today. I want to be happy. I want to be successful. I want to be uh, fulfilled. I want to be accepted. I want to be loved. So I create first this part in myself, and then I'm start to express it out. And when I create these things in myself, that I am accepted by myself, that I am loved by myself, that I am success for myself, that I am wealth for myself, that I am happiness for myself, and then I start to express it out. And when I express out, because that is in me, people see that, and they start to see me differently. And I love this part that I can share my message, that I can do what I want. And I know, and I try to, in a soft way, in many different ways, to tell that I see enormous potential in people with ADHD. I see enormous possibilities and options in people with ADHD. What I don't see in people with ADHD is that they should struggle. I don't see this part anymore. But then lots of coaches tells me, I guess if you want to work with someone, you need to say all that bad stuff what is in person's life. How I can tell? You know it already. You know the struggle. You know the struggle what comes with ADHD. Why should I remind you? I wrote these questions in beginning of my coaching program. I don't define myself with these questions. It was a hardship to write them 3.5 years later because I don't associate myself with these questions anymore. Because I don't feel that struggle since I accepted and love myself. Since I learned to accept ADHD as my part and not fit in, not creating byproducts out of my ADHD. Lots of things just change in a natural way. And I wish that you could talk about ADHD like I do. It is nothing wrong with us. Just because somebody is trying to convince us that it's something wrong with us, that that we do our brain different, I could stick on it and keep talking that my brain is different, that my nervous system is different, that I'm acting out differently. Do you think somebody cares about it? I find out nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about my brain difference. Nobody cares about my nervous system difference. Nobody cares that I am acting out different. They want just one thing, that I fit in, and they will try to convince you that you need to fit in because that is how society works, that is how system works. But I came in this world to make this difference, and that I want to be a difference. If somebody can't accept that I am different, they can choose to talk with somebody else. I am happy the way I are, and I will not convince somebody that you need to live a life like mine, because we create our own life. We came in this world to be different, and nothing else matters. To be different is good. We don't need to fit in somebody else's expectations about or listen that we need to fit in and we need to be like everybody else. And I am happy to be myself, to be accepted by myself, to be loved by myself. I love to take care about myself, because when I do everything that's for myself, I know that I am a better person and I much more better can take care about somebody else. I can accept more easily somebody else. I can love somebody else more easily. I can create different relationships with other people. But everything I express out, first I create in myself. And nothing else can define me as me, how I want to express myself out. Even ADHD can take this ability from me that I want to express myself out, accepted, loved, happy, creative, out-of-box thinker, goal-oriented, and so on and so on. It's no power for ADHD to make my life anymore. And that was my choice.